How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I'm finally back at the house after being away for a week, and the market is crashing. Maybe I just need to go on vacation again because we're down over 8% here today on the last 24 hours. I want to talk to you about why this is, why so many people are playing this wrong, in my opinion. I said this just a few days ago, but this video turned out to be very correct. And I want to talk to you about a couple different opportunities that you have, some different cryptos that are down, what this means for them, but also a couple 50Xs, a couple 50X opportunities. And I don't say that lightly. I don't just throw around, oh, this crypto is going to 100X, this is going to 200X. There's a specific reason because it's done this several times, and you'll understand the opportunity when I explain it to you. So if you don't mind hitting the like button and subscribe button, I really appreciate that. No promo today. Just know that there is a link or links underneath the video in case you want to sign up with some different platforms to start trading cryptos. But you can see the market devastated today, down 9% on Bitcoin, 9.1% on Ethereum, but many of these top altcoins down 12, 15%, some down 20%. So the fact is the market's getting squashed today. And I said just a few days ago, so many people will get this next move wrong, basically saying don't FOMO into this market at 25,000, even though it seems like we're back to the races. The fact is you're still going to be early at 25,000 compared to so many other people. But the fact is we're probably going to see more pain is basically what I said. We're going to trade sideways for a while. We're probably going to trade down a bit. And one of the reasons for this is because the Fed did say that they needed to continue to raise rates. We were going to see 75 basis points or 50 basis points for the next meeting, and they really, really need to get this inflation under control. Now, sometimes just saying that is enough to actually get the inflation under control. And sorry for the change up of mic here for a second. My computer is apparently frying itself. It makes really a lot of sense that the market is changing while the Fed is talking about increasing rates, because this is how it works. Basically, as the Fed changes its rates, as it increases the federal funds rate, it typically increases interest rates through the economy. We obviously know that the higher yields attract investment capital from investors abroad seeking higher returns on bonds and interest rate products. So with that in mind, a lot of other countries, a lot of other similar countries, I might say, are raising rates, but they're not as aggressive in raising them. I mean, we're talking about New England raising for the first time in however many years and them increasing to the highest rate, and they're just so much slower. So the fact is global investors sell their investment denominated products in their local currencies in exchange for US dollar denominated investments. And as time goes on, we've talked about it many times, if you can get a guaranteed rate that's high, why would you hold on to a risky asset? Or at least, why wouldn't you shift some of your money out? Because the fact is, a lot of big money wants to have some income. They want to have some set amount that's less risky. So if that becomes more attractive, they're going to take money out of the things that are more risky. And you can see the DXY, the power of the dollar, has just been going up and up and up recently. We're up to 108 today. If we look over the last 1 month, it's just up and to the right over the last couple weeks. So a lot of money's shifting right now because of how strong the dollar is. And the fact is, a lot of local currencies want to move their money over to the US dollar just because of the fact that obviously it's a lot less inflationary than a lot of the other countries out there. It's still inflationary, don't get me wrong, 8.5% last month. But the fact is, we aren't seeing the same inflation that a lot of other countries are. So that ties it all back together, right? The strength of the US dollar is what's bringing down some of the market and some of the riskier assets here today. And that makes sense with the Fed just announcing that they're going to raise rates even more than people expected. You can see this spooked the market a bit over the last 3 days. We broke this trend line that we were trying to break out of. We actually got rejected by it, I should say. You can see that this goes all the way back to January. The fact is, that's making a lot of technical traders really nervous. You can look at a lot of other things too. You can also see that we fell down below the 200 week for Bitcoin, which is a level that we've never fallen below twice in a bear market. But as I've said before, there's a first time for everything. So we went above it, then back below it. at least as of now. We could still close above it in the last couple weeks. Actually, every week we have gone below it at some point, but if we close below it, that's going to be really bearish. We're still pretty far away from it now as well. We would have to go up about $1,500, which is not crazy to think that we could just pop right back above it, but it's still something that has to get done. Now, we have the total liquidations coming in at 605 million. Now, this is the most that we've seen in 3 months. This is going back to some of the big crashes that we had before. And a lot of that, too, when we were crashing before, was leverage that wouldn't show up on here. It was companies dumping Bitcoin that were essentially leveraged up, but they're not going to show on the total liquidations chart. And then we also have some fear in the NFT market. There are currently 32,000 ETH worth of NFTs being used as collateral for loans on BenDAO alone. For the first time ever, a lot of these are in serious peril of liquidation. The reason for this is basically you can take a loan against your crypto or a loan against your NFTs and get crypto. Most NFTs are collateralized at 30 to 40% of the floor value. So if I take a loan on an ape at a 100 floor ETH, I can expect to receive 30 to 40 ETH loan at a 15 to 25% interest rate. Now this is great for liquid access to the amount of value in your NFT. But the fact is, if you get health score under 1.2, meaning that the value falls too much, that means that you're in the danger zone. Under 1, they can actually liquidate your ape. They can put it up for auction. So the fact is, a lot of these different apes are falling below that 1.2 health factor. That means that they're in the danger zone. They're 45 right now. And there are a ton of mutant apes as well. In 2.8% of the Bored Ape supply and 1.6 of the mutant ape supply are currently on the BenDAO. So the borrowers have to quickly come up with the money for the loans, otherwise they could get liquidated. And the fact is, this could send a liquidation spiral. The fact is, not too many people are buying NFTs right now, and if they see liquidation on the horizon, the fact is they'll just wait for it to continue to fall down instead of buying an ape right now. At least anyone that's pretty well educated on what's happening right now. And the fact is, these are some of the more educated NFT investors, some with more money than a lot of us. So the fact is that this is something that could blow up here very soon. One of the biggest NFT communities could see a lot of liquidations, and that's just what happens, right? People get over leveraged. That's one of the biggest 3 reasons for people to go broke, according to Charlie Munger, I believe, is leverage, liquor, and ladies. So the fact is that this could go very poorly, could cause a big drop or a big problem in the Ethereum market, could cause a lot of NFT investors to lose their shirts. And right now we're starting to see some of that fear possibly trickling into Ethereum. Obviously the whole market's down, but so many people were excited about Ethereum with Ethereum 2.0 coming up, which we'll talk about here in a second. But the fact is, this is why I've been really investing in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is what I've been dollar cost averaging into. It's still down 9%, but the fact is, it's not going to fluctuate as much as a lot of these other cryptocurrencies. It's not going to have quite the reaction to bad news as some of these smaller cryptos, and it will still do a great job in the next bull run. Like, I would not be surprised. I would be surprised if we didn't get to a $200,000 Bitcoin, which is basically a 10x from here in the next bull run. From there, I think we will go up to $1 million at some point, just based on market cap. And the fact is that so many people will want to buy this as a pristine asset, a very hard asset. And that's why I've been dollar cost averaging into it. And I've talked more about it in other videos. I just did a video on my Bitcoin elevator pitch and why Bitcoin's so valuable. I would go watch that video. But there are so many reasons to buy Bitcoin, but that doesn't mean we can't fall further. I said several times that I think we could fall back to about that old level, maybe below it. But the fact is, that's why I'm dollar cost averaging, because I don't know what's going to happen. So many people are going to say, yep, I was long on the way up, I'm shorting now that we're falling down, and they're just going to tell you that they did everything right. I'm not going to do that. I bought just a few days ago and we're at 23,000, but the fact is, I don't really care because I'm just going to continue to buy over time. And as time goes on, I'm just going to average out my buys. So if I buy a lot over at 20,000, let's say, or 21,000 after averages out on the way up and on the way down, and I keep on dollar cost averaging, the fact is years from now, I'm going to be really happy with that, and I'm not trying to get in and out, because what if I get out and then I never had the chance to get back in because some big news drops? So I've been buying Bitcoin. I think there's a 50x there. I also think there's a 50x with this new project. And I realize that this sounds like the opposite of what I was just saying, right? Taking a risky bet. But the fact is, I have some money in Satoshi Island. It just announced a tier 1 exchange listing. And this is a small cryptocurrency. This is a really risky project. But the fact is, I'm taking a calculated bet because it is part of Tencent. I've talked about this before, but the fact is they've launched a lot of successful cryptocurrencies. So this is Launchpad that has launched Kenga Exchange, which did 1,800% since launch, and that was the all-time high. MetaHero did a 1,700% increase. Everdome did 9,400%. Fame did 30,000%. So like a 300x from pre-sale to top. And then we have Satoshi Island that's coming up here soon. So you have to be able to get on these early to make them make sense. Otherwise, if you get in right when it launches, it still can do like a 2x typically, but then it drops off pretty quickly, usually after that, and then it levels out. So if you're able to get in on something like this that has a good history of doing really well, you have to realize that it can still go south, it can still fall, but the fact is this is going to be a very small percent of your portfolio. As I've said, 95 to 99% of everything going into crypto is going into Bitcoin. I do have this crypto though that I am going to be hopefully doing well on here soon, because again, it launches in just a few days, and these are the things that you can invest in just to be able to buy more Bitcoin, but you don't want to get in on the wrong one or get in at the wrong time. So I'm very cautious about doing that, but I do think that they're going to do really well. And you can see that they do have their exchange listing in just a few days. So be on the lookout for more of those in the future if I mention them on the channel. I don't mention too many of them, but those are the two cryptos that I think could do 50x's. Again, I'm putting a lot more into Bitcoin than anything else. I'm still buying other stocks as well, right? I'm buying a lot of stock right now because I think that it's still a good opportunity. There's less volatility. Obviously, everyone's in a different position, but like on a day where Bitcoin's down 10%, we have Tesla down 1.3, and it can fall further. But the fact is that stocks just don't move as much as crypto because we're early days in crypto. Now, if you're looking for some other cryptos besides Bitcoin, let's take a look at the list. Obviously, Ethereum's going through their merge here soon. I think that's going to be really bullish. Of course, we could get bad news with the NFTs, which is why I'm not buying right now, along with the fact that I think we will fall further as a market. And yeah, Ethereum might lead the market, but it's still falling down with the rest of the market. The fact is that it is still a riskier bet in my mind, and a lot of other institutional investors' mind, than Bitcoin. So I think that if the market continues to fall, Ethereum will continue to fall as well, possibly, probably more than Bitcoin. So I would pay attention to Ethereum. I think the merge is going to be still really good for the cryptocurrency and for holders. So when that merge happens, I wouldn't be surprised to see a pump or maybe even a dump, because some people are just getting rid of their crypto because they thought that we were going to lead up to the merge with a pump, and now they're just trying to take off some risk. But I still think buying long-term for Ethereum makes sense, and maybe dollar cost averaging would be the best option. I'm just sitting this one out for now. I'm just continuing to dollar cost averaging to Bitcoin. Now I do have some Ethereum from before, but I plan on buying more Ethereum at some point, and I'd like to see cryptos fall before I buy them. I don't like to buy on pumps, because if I just bought a few days ago, I'd still be down 15 to 20% in just a few days. Now going down the list, BNB is super stable, right? BNB, a lot of people don't like it, or a lot of people just don't think it's sexy enough to invest in. The fact is, it has held up extremely well during this bear market. It's still down only about 55% from its highs, maybe 60%. So it's down less than Ethereum, it's down less than Bitcoin, and it's been really steady. You can see it's on the last 24 hours, it's down 8.8%, just like Bitcoin, just like Ethereum. And it is the cryptocurrency of the biggest exchange out there. And it has a real use case and utility right now. So I think BNB is still one that is going to do really well, probably long term. It's just not sexy compared to these other ones. But the fact is, it still has great utility. They're still buying back a lot of it with their quarterly burn. And I haven't talked about it recently, but since we're just going through the list, that's a good one to have. Now, again, Bitcoin is probably the best for this bear market, but just ones that I would pay attention to and be ready for in case there's some big drop and you can get in at a good price. These are the ones that we're talking about right now. Cardano falling back below 50 cents, down 15% on the day, down 46%, or down to 46 cents. I think if you can pick this up real cheap, it's probably a good bet because they have a great community. They are working on some interesting things. The fact is they are just pretty slow, but as you can see from the last 6 months or so, slow isn't always terrible. It saves you from a lot of heartache when there are just terrible things that can go wrong with a cryptocurrency. Sometimes it's nice just to have a slow mover that's very cautious, and Cardano is that slow mover. They definitely have a great community and they're cautious about what they do, which I think is a positive at times. Solana down to $36. So I talked about selling, I think it was a third of my bag of Solana right around this level. Maybe it was a few months ago. And that was when Bitcoin was about 20,500, I believe. I put the money from Solana back into Bitcoin for a variety of reasons at that point. But I still like Solana a lot. They're my third largest crypto. The fact is, it's down 12% right now. You could see a lot of bullish momentum recently. Got back to the high 40s pretty quickly. And it's been beaten down pretty bad over the last couple months. It's down to a $12,500,000,000 market cap. And it's still just a fraction of what Ethereum's worth. What is that? 1/16th of Ethereum. The fact is, I think it's worth a lot more than a 16th of Ethereum. I think it will be a competitor against Ethereum in the next bull run. And it has a lot of real world use case because the fact is you do need to run transactions quickly. And while it does have downtime, the fact is every single crypto, every single layer one has issues. So Solana going down for a little bit of time is expected at times, but they do need to get better about that, which I think they will do over time. Dogecoin, I don't have much to say. XRP, I don't have much to say. Polkadot, it could have a future, but I'm not investing in it. They are highly inflationary. Shiba Inu, I'm not going to talk about it. Lido Staked Ether, not really going to talk about that. Avalanche, I think, would make sense to pick up at lower levels. It is similar to Solana in ways. It's highly efficient on transactions. The fact is, it is pretty inflationary. So is Solana, but Avalanche even more so. Polygon, I really like. Fell down from 90 cents. It was staying at 90 cents for a while, around 90 cents. Now down to 78. I really like Polygon, but I've been holding out on buying more, just like all these other cryptocurrencies. But I would really like to pick up some more Polygon. Fact is, it went down to 33 cents. Now it's still up a significant amount. So that's why I'm saying pay attention to these, because you might be able to pick them up at a really good point. Even though we're in a bear market and Bitcoin's gone up 20 or 30%, Polygon's gone up 150%. So you might be able to pick them up at a good level. And then there's some other cryptos, of course, that are good. Chainlink, I really like. The fact is, so many different projects and protocols are going to have to use Chainlink for real world data. So I think they'll do well over time. They just have been not great. The price action just isn't that great overall. So I might not invest into Chainlink. I really appreciate what they do, but the fact is, I think they're just faster runners. But again, I like what they're doing there. So that's a little rundown of cryptos in general that I think could do really well in the next bull market. So the fact is, you should pay attention to them now. But again, I'm focusing on Bitcoin and then things I can make quick money on. So I'm not saying necessarily to invest in Satoshi Island either, or any cryptos on this list, right? You always have to do your own research. Everyone's situation is different. I'm just going out and telling you what makes sense to me, what I think you can make money in. And the fact is, Satoshi Island is one of them. Anything from Tencent has done well. And the fact is, a lot of people will dump, like so many people will dump these tokens or any of these tokens, any new project, people are going to dump because they can make a good return. So just don't get dumped on. Don't be the person that buys and then doesn't sell and thinks it's going to go up to the moon forever. The fact is, you want to take profits on these pretty quickly. They just did announce too, Da Vinci, who bought Bitcoin at $1, he's getting in on this. He's buying an NFT plot of land and supposedly building a small house on it. So the fact is, they do have a lot of excitement, a lot of hype behind it. So pay attention to that. Don't be on the wrong side of that trade, because I don't trade much, but I know to take profits on the ones that I'm thinking short term on. Now, always do your own due diligence. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a great weekend. It's great to be back. Thanks.